Number 1.
Creepy School Bus by Darker Than You Think. At the time this happened, I was 16 and living in a small mountain town. I was driving to my friend's house one night after youth group. She lived on the darker, more rural outskirts of town. I was at a spotlight in the middle of the town when I see a small school bus pull up behind me. I thought nothing of it, because sometimes smaller school buses were used for sporting events. I continue about my drive, blaring my music and just driving the familiar roads. About 5 minutes later, when things start to get a bit more rural, I notice that the bus is still there. I was a bit on high alert now because we were far away from the schools, and it made no sense for the bus to come out this way. Now, there wasn't that many options for twists and turns in this part of the town, so I just stayed on my course. Within a minute or so of me getting this bad feeling, the bus starts creeping up and almost touches my bumper. I officially fucking panicked. This was when cell phones weren't as awesome as they are now, and of course, my Nokia was out of minutes. I start slowing down, hoping that the bus would just pass me. No such luck. Instead, the fucker inside this thing turns the lights off and stays uncomfortably close. I'm getting close to my friends, but don't want to lead this asshole to her house. I decide I'll get close enough to her house where I can run there in an absolute emergency, but to just drive around the area to see if I could ditch the bus. I turn into a street about a half a mile away from my friend's house, and thank my lucky stars, there is a cop parked on the side of the street. I look into my rear view mirror in time to see that the bus passes me nonchalantly. I notice that only the front of the bus was yellow. The rest of it was white, with the windows painted over. I made it safely to my friend's house, but Stalker and the murder bus, let's not meet.
Number 2.
Eve by Sensitive Sunny. This is going to be in the perspective of a female, and I want to give a quick warning about this story. It talks about rape, so if you're offended by this, then you can go ahead and skip this story. Eve and I were very good friends. Note the were. She was a strange girl. Barely had any friends when I first met her in high school. I had started in the 8th grade rather than the 7th grade, so nearly everyone in my grade at that point had formed their own cliques. I found myself classified under the lazy stoners. I had talked to Eve once, through Facebook. She was not a happy girl. I had just met her, and she was spilling all of her secrets about self-loathing, self-harm, suicidal thoughts, and the like. I felt bad for her. My heart ached since I sympathized with what she was dealing with. We became friends. Started hanging out at school and outside of school. After a while, Eve changed. It was more of an eerie change than anything. She started growing possessive of me, saying I couldn't hang out around other people. She told me that she loved me and couldn't live without me. At the time, there was no red flags going off in my head. She was my friend, who had lived a not so easy life thus far, and was just happy to have finally found someone there for her. It got out of control when she gave me the silent treatment for a week after I got a boyfriend. "But he's not good for you," she'd say after her silence. "He doesn't treat you right." Which was wrong. He treated me like a princess, and spoiled me silly, and reminded me of my beauty inside and out. "It's not going to last. I just know it." She was right. The relationship lasted all of 1 month and 3 days, because Eve decided that she had something to say to him. To this day, I still don't know what she had said that possessed him to leave. We were happy, or so I thought. Somewhere along the timeline of our friendship, my dad died of a heart attack. She was very supportive, and I will forever be grateful for her support and love during that time. Something broke inside of her, I think, seeing me like that. She had started taking copious amounts of drugs and became distant. 2 months later, she moved to a different province with her mother. She had been raped. We still spoke occasionally, and she seemed to be doing well enough, but the paranoia of her rapist coming to find her spooked her. I stayed up countless nights talking to her on the phone about everything. It hurt me to hear some of these things. Once she told me she had gotten raped, she told her mother what happened, and her mother yelled at her, saying it was her fault for being raped, and she bet she enjoyed it anyway. I've met Eve's mother before, and she is one of the sweetest moms I have ever met. Plus, she's a great cook. I cannot see her saying something so cruel to her only daughter. I withdrew after that, not sure what to make of the whole ordeal. But one night, man, this is where I just could not be friends with her anymore. One night, I got a Facebook message from her. It started normal enough. We were just talking about our days. Then, it took a turn. She started telling me how much she loved me, and not just as a friend. She said how the thought of anyone touching her body again made her feel sick, but she loved the feel of my hands on her. Things like that. I had not once seen Eve under that light. Pretty much all my friends know that I'm bisexual, but Eve never gave me the slightest hints towards her sexuality, so I had just assumed she was straight. Up until that point, she never talked about anyone romantically or sexually now that I think about it. My replies became less frequent and more hostile the longer the conversations went on. Something was off. I'm not sure how to explain it, but something just didn't feel right about this situation. My gut was right. She started talking about getting raped again. She started talking about getting raped again by her original abuser, and then taking the rape kit at the hospital. I was not for this plan. She said she had found someone that was willing to help her. His name was Alex. Right off the bat, I hated Alex. He wanted sexual favors in return for helping her. I told her my distaste for this plan and how I was willing to help in any way I possibly could, as long as the plan didn't involve her getting raped again. At this point, it just seemed ridiculous to me, so I started texting her cell phone. No answer. After a while, Eve said that she was going to see Alex that night, and instead, he was going to help her kill herself. I started panicking. I don't remember all that had happened that night. My mind was racing, and my adrenaline was pumping like crazy. All I knew was that I had to save Eve. I started spam calling and texted Eve's phone, but got her voicemail. I checked to see if she was still logged in onto Facebook. She wasn't. I called and called and called. 20 or so minutes later, I received a text from an unknown number. I did a reverse lookup of the number and found out it was from the same place Eve was living at that time. It said something along the lines of,
If you keep calling her, you're just going to make it worse for her.
I asked, who the fuck is this? To which I got a laughing emoji and a detailed text message about tying my friend up, drugging her, and using her like the little whore she was. The text involved details about the things whoever on the other line wanted to do to her. I won't say everything, but there was something he had mentioned about a curling iron. I freaked out. I instantly looked up her area's police number and immediately dialed after reading the text. I was crying when the operator answered. Bless her heart. She remained calm and wasn't pushing me for too many details at once. I explained the situation to her. My suicidal friend, the rape, her guy friend, the Facebook messages, and finally the text. She asked me where my friend lived, which I didn't know. I gave her my friend's cell phone number instead. They found her location and asked for my number so they could call me back. Between all the stress, adrenaline, and fear, I accidentally gave them my old phone number, so they never called me back. I did get a text message from Eve's phone though about 30 minutes later. Eve said, "Why'd you call the fucking cops on me? The whole house was sleeping when they got here." I was so confused, but the unknown number knew I had been texting and calling her cell phone. How could they have known if she had her cell phone with her? Absolutely nothing was adding up. I cried all night. I had nightmares about what the unknown number had said to me. Every night, I'd imagine myself being tortured and used by a masked man. That night, I had called my best friend who also lived in another province. I told him everything that happened in between sobs. He comforted me and confirmed that I wasn't going crazy and that I hadn't just made the whole thing up. I made sure to take screenshots of everything and sent it to him. He agreed that nothing added up about what she said about the whole conversation, and even after that as well. It's been nearly a year since this occurred. I feel bad, and judge me all you want, but I blocked her number after that. I blocked all 3 of her Facebook accounts. Blocked everything I could. Every couple of months or so, I'll get a call from an unknown number. I never answer it. The voicemail consists of her telling me how much she loves me. The creepy part is, I've changed my phone twice and the number since the incident. Just last week, I got a message request on Facebook from a profile bearing her name. It explained how she'll never forget me. I left a mark on her. A mark that was never going away. More rambling about her overflowing love for me. I just need to see your face, please. You're so special to me. It ended with her telling me she was back. I blocked that new account too. I'm so sorry, Eve, but please, let's not meet again. Edit. A Redditor informed me that the ending wasn't clear enough, so my apologies. After I called the cops, I received a text message from Eve asking why I called the cops on her. I never got a call back from the police since I accidentally gave them my old cell phone number. I sent her all the messages I got from her Facebook account and the unknown number, and she got mad, saying that it wasn't her. I stopped talking to her, called up my friend bawling my eyes out, and I explained the whole situation to him. It was around 3 in the morning after everything was said and done, and about 3:30 when I called my best friend. I stopped talking to her altogether for a few months after that night, but decided one day maybe we should figure this shit out, and talk over everything, and set a date, time, and a place to meet. But she stood me up. I went missing in action for 2 weeks. After those 2 weeks, she claimed that she couldn't meet up with me because she had to be rushed to the hospital for self-mutilation. Her words, not mine. So I just officially gave up on tearing myself apart trying to help her. I'm not qualified for giving that kind of help, and quite frankly, she was driving me crazy. Edit. She found out my Snapchat name and won't stop snapping me and trying to call me through Snapchat. I didn't even know you could call through Snapchat.
Number 3.
A girl asked to buy my baby. By Keeping Faith _ This story will be in the perspective of a female. I am a young teen mother, and my son just turned 4 months old. I was at school, standing in a circle showing my friends pictures of my baby, because he's pretty cute, and I have never met a girl who doesn't like a cute baby. Anyway, I'm showing my friends the pictures, and I noticed this girl, probably a junior, trying to peek over the shoulders of some of my friends to get a better look. I notice her, but fortunately, she doesn't notice me, and I just thought, she probably heard us talking and wanted to see. So I brushed it off. The bell rings. We're in school, obviously, and I put my phone away and walked to class. This girl, who I've never seen before, walked about 15 feet behind me at all times. I got a little creeped out, especially considering I put my phone away and I was silent. I made it to class, and she got to the doorway, waited about a minute, and walked away. About 2 hours later, when the last bell rings to go home, she approached me and asked me aside. She pulled out $50 and says, "Your baby is cute. I only have 50 right now, but I can give you the rest as soon as I get paid." I just stared at her in shock. What? Was the only thing I could mutter. "Your baby. Mind if I buy him off you?" I didn't know what to feel. My heart dropped, and I became so pissed off and scared at the same time. All I could say back was, "Fuck off." I walked away, and I could feel her staring at me, but I didn't care. Who says something like that? Did she really think I sold her my child? So many questions went through my head. Crazy chick who wants my child. Let's not meet. Again. Hey guys, Psychotic Maniac here. First and foremost, happy 2017. I hope you guys are having an amazing new year so far. Well, I know some of you aren't, because you probably went back to school or school is starting soon. To you I say, good luck, and that you may finish strong, and that summer is just 5 months away, so keep at it. Now, I want to apologize because I said I was going to upload last Tuesday, and I didn't. I wasn't able to because I was one of the lucky ones to get sick in the beginning of 2017. I had a really bad fever. My body was aching, my head was hurting, my throat was hurting, and it still hurts. To put it simple, I felt like complete shit. I wanted to finish the video and upload it on Saturday, but I didn't have the energy to do so. I feel a tad better now, so I hope you guys won't eat me alive because I didn't upload sooner. I guess my timing for uploading this video was right because most of you are going back to school now. Yes, school is pretty scary, and I wanted to make it a tad bit scarier for you guys. Alright kids, class is dismissed. I hope you guys have an outstanding 2017. Be safe, and remember, everyone is a tad bit insane.